Hey guys, it's Asher. Stocks and shares ISAs are the best way of investing money in the UK if you want to save on tax. But when I looked around, the advice out there that tells you which ones are the best, which ones are good, which ones are not good is really muddled and mighty confusing. So here I am clearing it all up for you. In this video, I'm going to tell you which the cheapest options are, which ones might be better depending on how you choose to invest or what your preferences are. But I'm also going to cover a lot of popular options that are actually, in my opinion, not good at all. But just before we get there, all of this is just that, my personal opinion. I am not a financial advisor. This is not any kind of financial advice. And if you do need financial advice, please make sure you seek the help of a suitably qualified professional. Now, first, let me dispel a few big myths because there's so much misinformation out there. I did some searching before this video. I went and watched some of the other videos, and I'm really concerned because I think some of this stuff can really affect how people think. A lot of new companies have sprung up offering stocks and shares ISA accounts. Some people like to talk about these a lot. For example, Money Farm, Nutmeg, Wealthify, Moneybox, Wealthsimple. There's just a lot of these different ones. There's others as well. They won't be making my list just before we get there, simply because I don't think their offerings are actually as good as the ones that I will be talking about. I know some other YouTubers have recently been talking about some number of these and releasing reviews and stuff like that, and it's not surprising because many of these companies have emailed me as well, offering to pay me to do some reviews or to pay me to mention them in some videos and promote them. And here's the thing, these platforms charge pretty expensive fees, as much as 0.75% per year, and even some of the cheaper ones are still 0.4 and 0.45%, which is already quite a lot more expensive than the options I'm going to be talking about. They then tell their customers that in exchange for those fees, they then have the peace of mind because the platform does all the investing on your behalf. You don't have to worry. All you have to do is put your money into the platform and you're good to go. Your choice of investments is typically limited to a very small number of proprietary funds, or in some cases, some third-party options. But these funds have their own fees on top of this annual fee as well, and that can be as much as 0.3% in addition. But then you look at the performance of those funds. Now, after paying 1% or thereabouts of your entire portfolio every single year for the privilege of using one of those ISA accounts, the performance must be great, right? Well, the answer is no. Even if you pick the highest risk option in each case, when you go and look at the numbers, you are significantly underperforming just the basic stock market on average. Something as basic as the S&P 500 will beat pretty much every single one of them in every single year, or at least over the period, over the long term, over a few years. If you go and compare them, you'll just see the numbers, and it is really, really weird to me how many people really strongly recommend these options because of what I'm trying to explain here. Now, in short, I don't like stocks and shares ISAs that charge me a lot of fees and then actually pay me less in returns than other options I have with other stocks and shares ISA accounts. Now, next, let me quickly cover a couple of options that I know people will swear by in the comments if I don't talk about them and tell me that I'm wrong and that those are the best ones. The two that I frequently get mentioned are Hargreaves Lansdown and IG because people really like those for their own reasons. Now, there are other companies like Fidelity, AJ Bell, and a lot of other ones as well that sort of fall into the same category in my opinion. And that is, there's a big issue, and the issue is price. These are eye-wateringly expensive accounts for people who invest like normal people like me in a stocks and shares ISA account. With most, you have to pay some kind of annual management fee, and I know this doesn't apply to each single one out of those, but the majority, typically you're going to be paying 0.4% or thereabouts, give or take. And so that's a bad place to start for me. But then on top of that, there's a share dealing fee, and that applies to ETFs. Sometimes the ETF fee is a bit lower than the share fee, but still you're paying like 10 to 12 pounds per single transaction. In some cases, it might be a bit lower, but every single time you go and make an investment into one stock, or one ETF, or one share of a company, you are paying that £12 fee. Then you go and sell, you pay it again. So if you contribute money monthly, just to give you a really ridiculous example, but something that people can actually associate with. Let's say you put £200 out of your money every month into your stocks and shares ISA, and you want to contribute to a diversified portfolio. So you don't want to invest in only one company per month. You want to split it between something, let's not get too carried away, 10 different companies. If you choose to do that with one of these big providers, you're going to be paying £120 in fees just to invest your money. So after those fees, you're only going to be able to put £80 into your actual investments. This is bonkers. And I know this example is way over the top, and most people will not be doing this in this way. You'll only put your money into one company at any one time, but that actually is downside in itself. Now, even if you go and do the extreme option of taking £20,000 in one go and putting it into one of these ISA accounts, you then still, if you go and distribute between 10 different investments, that £120 is still 0.6% of your money that's gone up front the moment you make that deposit. Anyway, my point is, I know they will have better customer support. I know they are robust companies. They have lots of cool features, but the situation for me is it's just too expensive for me to consider them as a realistic option for most people in terms of it being a good stocks and shares ISA account, and that's why they're not in my list either. So, which is the best and cheapest option out there? Well, to find out, make sure you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because that will let this video be shown to more people. And given that we're approaching this period in time when the financial year changes, this might actually help them out as well. So please, if you haven't done so already, make sure you go and do that. Now, the number one for me that stands above the rest, definitely in terms of the combination of different ways that I would look at it, is Trading 212. The only fee you have to pay on the platform to set up a stocks and shares ISA account and then use it is the newly introduced 0.15% foreign exchange fee, which you pay if you trade any kind of stocks or any other things that are denominated in a currency other than British pounds. For example, if you buy US stocks. Now, you pay that fee if you buy and if you sell, but that's it. There's no other charges like the ones that I just mentioned. The platform is really quite nice to use. I actually personally really enjoy the graphs, and there's lots of different options. And certainly in terms of the information provided about the individual companies and those graphs and all that stuff, they are actually really good. In fact, they're better than some quite expensive platforms, in my opinion. I use them in my live videos when I talk about the stock market because I really like the layout. They have a really wide range of stocks to choose from, and if you want to invest passively, the S&P 500 ETFs from Vanguard and iShares are also available, and you don't have to pay any additional charges other than the fund fee, which is really, really cool, which brings me to the other really popular option, which is Vanguard. Now, everyone seems to talk about them. Everyone has their ISA with them. I've seen everyone go and say that they're the best option. They're moving their ISA there. They're already there. They have a massive amount of money in there. With Vanguard, the pricing is reasonable. You pay 0.15% per year for the platform, which is more than Trading 212, but it's actually not too bad. But one downside is you can only invest in a relatively small selection of Vanguard funds and ETFs, all of them Vanguard ones. Now, some of them are proprietary and you can't get access to them elsewhere, but the issue is that the majority of them actually still underperform the market. And although there are some more popular ones that people like to talk about, some of them have done well more recently, but if you look over the long term, even they typically don't really give you anything above just having your money invested in the market like you would if you were with the S&P 500. And here's the thing. If you wanted to invest in their ETF, the S&P 500 VUSA ETF, for example, that I have some of my money in, which is the S&P 500 distributed kind of index, you could do it cheaper by investing it in another stocks and shares ISA like Trading 212 or even Freetrade. Now, Freetrade gets a worthy mention here because it is a really decent option, and the company is showing some really great stuff recently on the ethics front and on how they like to treat their customers, and I'm not going to get into the depths of that because I've covered that in other videos, but the platform charges 0.45% foreign exchange fee every time you buy or sell stocks, for example, US stocks that are not in pounds. That's 3 times higher than Trading 212. Although in absolute terms, if you look at those rates, they're still way cheaper than the big platforms, which will charge you 1% or 1.5% for foreign exchange on top of the share dealing fees, on top of the annual management fee. So these are still both way cheaper, even though Trading 212 is that much cheaper than Freetrade within the super cheap band. Plus, with Freetrade, you have to pay £3 per month for the ISA account as well on top. And although that kind of sounds more expensive, it's still, the £3 fee is cheaper than Vanguard if your portfolio is over £2,000 because of that Vanguard annual fee. So I would say it's still a pretty decent option. The one really important thing is if you're trying to set up this ISA account before the new tax year starts, which is on the 6th of April, so that you can take advantage of the £20,000 allowance for this tax year, or if the you know, if the situation is still the same afterwards. At the moment, Trading 212 are not taking on new accounts, and they haven't been for about a month and a half. And that means that if you want to go and create an account now to take advantage of this allowance, you won't potentially be able to do that. It's not looking likely that they're going to be opening them anytime soon, because they are still not providing any updates as to when that might be. So in that case, I'd say Freetrade is where I personally would be looking to set up my ISA account if I didn't have one already and I was wanting to go and make use of the timing. But you have to make your own choice based on the information. Now, if you want to get started with either Freetrade or Trading 212, feel free to use my link in the description below, because you will get a bonus free share for signing up. You won't get that bonus free share if you don't use my affiliate link and just go and sign up directly. So that's a nice little extra if you want to go and choose one of those accounts. And I get a free share as well if you go and do that, just for disclosure. Thank you very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys found this useful. And as always, I'll see you later.